getting much better at fading out the music. I've been working very hard on that.
Well, we've been doing this for about 2 years now. We would hope at some point we get a little bit better at some pieces of this.
Yeah. Bits and pieces coming along. You know, now we got the for our viewers out there, we're now live on Spotify. You know, it's taken quite some time, but we're there.
So people should follow us on Spotify,
YouTube, Instagram.
All right, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. This is great.
And then the Facebook Live is where you catch it every Wednesday. You know, hot off the presses.
Yeah, for the people that can watch live and comment on it.
Which we do have a very good following, consistent.
Yeah, we're getting there. I'm very
consistent,
happy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm waiting for this to pop up on my page. It's really not happening.
To everybody listening to us on Spotify, where the dead air we're getting better at too, trying to get all our devices loaded up to really help us out with the program. Because
I think overall you took 3 people that have no skills when it comes to any of this crap, and I think we're doing pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, it still shows, but
yeah, I know. Boy, does it ever.
All right, here we go.
All right, we are ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, takes a little bit to
I still don't have
get everything
I'll
out.
find it on my phone. All right, welcome to the Probably Wrong podcast. My name is Tony Furtado. To my left, Mikey Snellgrove. To his left, Diamond Dave DiSciullo.
You nailed it this week.
DiSciullo,
yeah.
is that it?
Nailed it.
That's all right. And once again, it's only taken about a year and a half, 2 years, so finally we got it right.
Very good.
I'll find this on my page eventually, and then we can read the comments as they come in.
All right. What I wanted to get into today, you know, a little off the topic of sports. We do have a bunch of stuff to get into today. But I've been seeing this ideal people. This question they've been asking is, what is like your ideal people to have at a dinner table? If you could pick anybody. And then I was watching something on TV the other day. I forget what channel it was, but they were talking about it. And some of these choices people are picking are awful.
All right,
like,
well, who are they picking?
Like some of politicians and things like that, and people of like political war history and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, who wants to hang out with a politician?
Oh, God.
Like, and they were trying to talk about it like these mega. I mean, I get it. Some of them they were like these mega billionaires. They're like, oh, you could pick their mind. I'm like, that's the last thing they want to do at a dinner table is to let you.
And even if you did pick their mind, like, unless you're like mega wealthy yourself, there's nothing valuable that you know. If you're working at Walmart, no offense to anyone that works at Walmart, but sitting down at a table with a billionaire, I don't think you're gonna really grasp anything that he has to say. You know, it's gonna be a little bit over your head.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Oh, God.
And they're probably not going to understand much you're talking about either.
Stocking shelves? No, I don't think they'll get it.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask to start out the show, and to everybody out there, please feel to chime in. If you were to pick 3 people, so 4 people including yourself, if you were to pick 3 other people to sit down with you, to have a dinner, one dinner, you never know, you may spark off and be friends. Who would it be?
All right, so we're picking like people that we don't know.
Yeah, people that you don't know.
So I'm thinking, for me,
like celebrity
pro
sports
athletes probably.
Yeah.
All right, so 2 people come to the top of my mind, but I don't think they could sit at the table together.
Okay.
You know, because I think it would be too much. All right, so the first 2 people, and I'll think of the third. The first person would be my favorite athlete of all time.
Kevin Garnett?
Kevin Garnett.
Yep, knew that.
He brings a lot of fire, and I would just want to sit there and, like, listen to, like, his fire and his intensity, because I think I listen to him on his podcast, and he fires me up.
Yep.
I used to watch highlights of him, fires me up, and I'd love to sit there at a table and have him talk about his work ethic and getting up early and running on the beach, which he used to do.
See, I knew you'd go with Kevin Garnett, and I'm not trying to... I'm just...
Sounds like you are trying
I'm just trying to think, with Kevin Garnett sitting there, are you going to get the Kevin Garnett that's sitting there enjoying talking with boys, or are you going to get the Kevin Garnett that's like in your face Kevin Garnett?
Well, he talks to Pierce, and he's in Pierce's face.
Yeah, like, do you want that at your dinner table?
Yeah, I think so, because you're spending 1 hour with this guy. It's like, dude, bring the fire.
Yeah.
Another person, and this is why I couldn't have them together, because I feel like I'd like to understand this guy more, but I don't think Kevin Garnett would give him the ability to talk. I'd like to listen to Mike Tyson. Just talk about his life, because I didn't like Mike Tyson much as a boxer. I was an Evander Holyfield fan. But as a person after boxing, you get to learn about all that he's kind of gone through, and like a lot of demons that he's fighting. And I'd like to listen to him talk, but I don't think they could sit together. Because I think Garnett would cut him off the way we cut off DiSciullo every week. So I don't think it would work. So my third guy would have to be someone like pretty neutral and kind of like blah, because there's no way you could throw in a third power presence with
So who is it?
Mike Tyson and Kevin Garnett. So if I'm going to go with someone pretty blah and neutral, let's go Donald Trump. The hell with blah and neutral. Let's go Trump. Not that I'd really want to listen to him for an hour either. But let me think. Someone that's a little bit more neutral. Maybe Larry Bird. Get him in there.
You and Tony agree. Tony Martin here for our Spotify listeners. We have a lot of people live chiming in. Tony Martin has Howard Stern and Larry Bird.
Larry Bird, yeah.
That's a couple good picks.
Yeah.
Larry Bird, I'm sure, has some really good stories to tell.
Yeah. I wonder
if he would just sit there and thumb his nose at everybody.
I don't know. I wonder if you had those three together, Tyson, KG, and Larry Bird. I wonder, three alpha males, I wonder who takes the lead. I think it's Bird. Because I think KG has respect for people that played the game. And I think, although Tyson is an alpha male in the ring, I think outside of the ring, he's a little frail.
I think now with all the marijuana business and all the herbal supplements he does, I think he's a little bit more relaxed, and I think he would enjoy and be sipping on his drink
and enjoying the moment. Yes, I think you're right. So I think KG, with his respect for people that played the game before him, I think Bird would be the lead on that.
Okay, all right.
So that's it. Larry Bird, Kevin Garnett, Mike Tyson with me. 1 hour of fun.
All right.
I like it.
You want to go?
I can go, yeah.
Well, usually you don't have this queued up, so
I think
the world wants to know.
Adam Sandler would probably be my first pick.
I like it. I like it.
I see a lot of stuff of him just randomly playing basketball, showing up at a gym and shooting hoops with whoever's there. I don't know. He just seems like he's a guy that wouldn't, treat you like an ass if you saw him on the street. So I think he'd be fun to hang out with.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think he would keep it amusing. If I was going to go athlete...
It doesn't have to be.
I know. I mean...
I don't have any athletes at my table.
I love Pedro Martinez.
Ooh.
I think he's just colorful and just... I don't know. He's always smiling, always having fun. And I think he would be someone fun to talk to. I'm sure he's got some interesting stories. And number 3, man, I was thinking about it earlier. Someone like Julian Edelman, who seems like kind of a fun guy.
Not be able to stand Julian Edelman, and then
he's grown on me.
Yeah, watching the podcast and everything
hilarious.
after, and like he seems the douchebag coattail rider of Brady, I think, has worn off. I don't think he's that person. I think it's almost like he saw himself in the reflection in the mirror and said, I got to be my own person.
Yeah.
And I love what he's, when he's out telling stories of, the Belichick stories in practice, in the locker room, stuff he says to him.
He does the voice impressions.
He does. It cracks me up. I mean, I just think he's another guy that would be interesting to talk to.
It's just his podcast. Like, I know we've talked about the Kelsey Brothers podcast, how we all enjoy that. But Julian Edelman's, I mean, especially like the him and Gronk. Sean would like to sit with Gronk. Like those guys just chopping it up. I could listen to that forever.
Right.
Gronk is a guy you probably go out, drinking beers and taking shots and stuff with.
Yeah. So Adam Sandler, Julian Edelman, and
Pedro.
I got a funny, somewhat Adam Sandler story. My buddy was in the movie Grown Ups. Is that it?
Yeah.
They're filming it in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And my buddy's 6'2", maybe. He was big, like 265 pounds. He's a big dude. So when he walked around places, he was always like the biggest guy. And when they were doing breaks during the movie, they all sat on the basketball court. And Adam Sandler would pick people out of the crowd and play one-on-one against them.
Yeah. There's all those stories.
And my buddy's like, dude, you need to help me. Because I've never played basketball in my life. I know he's going to pick me. I'm the biggest guy there. I got a shaved head. He's going to pick me. And then what happens is he lights people up. Everyone's laughing. He's like, I'm going to look like a fool. So me and my buddy, I think Saturday mornings, we're going down to the
Bridgewater Courts?
Yes, the Bridgewater Courts.
Yep.
And we did it for about a month and a half, and there was just no helping my buddy. He was not a good basketball player. Thankfully, Adam Sandler never called on him.
So he used to do, like, with him and Kevin James, all the movies in town, he used to do that always.
Really?
He'd make sure there was a court there, and he'd play. He'd go to local places and play. He likes to be a man of the people.
Yeah, a man of the people. I like that.
Jared James would like us three to take him out to lunch.
Okay.
All right, well.
All right. DiSciullo's paying.
Yep.
He ready.
McDonald's, Wendy's.
Todd has
Sky's the limit.
Bobby Orr, Adam Sandler, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. All right.
Is Bobby Orr still alive?
He is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't
75, 77.
I don't think he'll be making it out to dinner.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., I like him. Because I think, if I remember correctly, he was also in Talladega Nights. Right? Little cameos and stuff like that. Make him seem a little bit more down to earth.
Yeah.
All right. So now my three. Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, and Zac Efron. I think that
are you a woman?
Amazing.
What the hell's going on here? Like,
what do you mean? Wait a minute. First off, why are you coming at me like that?
because they're all like known as like good-looking, like hot throbs
They're
for women.
also, all three of those are known as humble guys that when they're on set, they're talking, they're joking with people. There's clips of them everywhere. They're having fun. They look like three guys that we could laugh and have a ball.
And if you want to pick up chicks, that's the three guys you want to be out with.
Dude, that's my Rat Pack.
Yeah, right
That
there.
is-
I never thought about that.
that
If you want
is
to pick
my
up a
Rat
lady
Pack.
friend, then there you go. That's who you want to hang with.
Just
Any
when
of
you
those.
watch them, like when you see like the behind the scenes, they're always
How about with Mike Tyson
cracking jokes
and Larry Bird, 6'9", white Larry Bird.
I don't want to sit with athletes. I'm sorry. I don't want to sit with athletes. I don't. It's not my, I want to sit with guys that I watch that I think are funny, that I think are, and they're all the triple threat, They can sing, act, dance,
And Efron's in the new movie, right?
Yeah.
The Iron Claw, right? Is that what it's called? The wrestling movie?
Mark Wahlberg used to be one of them, but the more I see of him lately,
No, he said Donnie.
No, I know. I
saying,
was just,
no.
Mark seems a little bit more like he would take over the table and try to give everybody how to run their life, how to do it. You know what I mean? Kind of really
And believe it or not, Mark would make you pay.
Yeah.
He'd make you pay. I got stories for you guys after.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Donnie Wahlberg, solid guy. Mark?
It brings Jenny McCarthy along,
Oh, yeah.
She was, as we learned a couple weeks ago, she was my crush as a young buck.
What show was that on MTV? That was a good show.
Which one?
Singled Out, right?
Yep, Singled Out. Yep, that was awesome. That was the golden age.
That's funny.
Wow. So how quickly we shit on my three people I want to go have dinner with.
I didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
You have your picks.
I feel like I could be friends with those guys. I feel like we could start. It would just be a beautiful friendship.
I feel like I'd be intimidated.
Why, you don't think you're up to their, like, standard?
I don't know.
looks?
I just,
You don't think you're that good looking a guy? Like, you don't think you're a 10 out of 10 like those fellas?
I think I would be intimidating sitting with Kevin Garnett and Mike Tyson.
Oh, that'd be great.
I don't think.
Mike Tyson, not so much. Kevin Garnett, I'd probably be intimidated by.
Hello?
Larry Bird, I'd be intimidated by. But Mike Tyson, I don't know. I just, after watching Mike Tyson do the Hangover movies and stuff like that, he looks like he's actually a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, and I don't
He does. Watch him behind the scenes, though. He still snaps on people.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
You just sit there. You don't say much.
The attitude doesn't go away.
Right. Yeah. Well, when he snapped on the guy on the plane, that was for good reason, right? The guy just wouldn't leave him alone.
Yeah.
So I didn't blame him for that at all.
No, but I want guys. I don't feel. See, I'm sitting with those three. I wouldn't feel intimidated. I think that they would feel. I just think the conversation would go. I think I would have a great time with those guys, and we'd have a budding, beautiful friendship. And they could take me under their wings.
Slow it down, Snowgrove. You think that you're going
fly
out to
away.
eat with them at Johnny Macaroni?
They all have incredibly beautiful wives. They're all. I like them too. Okay. All right. Well, I got crapped on. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. I'm not going to read Tony's comment because it's just crapping on you some more.
I don't even have Tony's comment.
Not my comment. The other Tony.
Yes.
Not a bad comment.
And yes, Todd, Shaq might be a pretty fun guy to hang out with,
absolutely.
too.
So he'd be one of those guys, too, that really would... He would want to hear from you. He'd want you to talk. Like, I think, I like Shaq. All right, so now let's get into sports.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with the first place Boston Celtics.
So what I want to touch base about the Boston Celtics with, first off, is listening to sports radio. and I think you hit the nail on the head, Tony.
As always.
I don't think these guys watch the games.
I think sometimes they complain just to complain.
Yeah.
And they have this is our agenda for the day. Let's get under people's skin. And I don't know. I feel like I've been watching the games, and this is a beautiful product out there. This is a very good team.
Yeah.
And you watch this team, and you can see, I know we made the finals 2 years ago, what a big difference this team is as opposed to that team 2 years ago.
So what you're saying is I have something in common with those two fools.
Which ones?
The two sports radio fools you're talking about. Not watching the Celtics games.
Yeah.
I did look at the stat
you're
line the
absolutely
other
right.
night, and because I wanted to see if those new guys played,
And then
I saw 2 minutes for one and 4 minutes for another, and I'm like, what can you get done in 2 minutes?
Right. I just think they're clicking on all cylinders right now. I think they've won 8 or 9 in a row. And these
Nine straight.
And these games really aren't even close. And they're beating some pretty good
Isn't
teams.
that the time where you let these guys play a little more?
I think
See
they're
what-
happy
what
with
you got with them?
I would think so, but
I mean, this brings me to my team, the Bruins, who they're in first
Okay,
place
you're
all
gonna have
year
your
long.
Bruins in a minute.
you're way down
You're
here.
way down
on the
here.
list.
I know,
You're
I know.
skipping all this
Stop
crap.
chopping the
It's-
cable.
they're doing the same thing. They're not letting guys play while they're way ahead. You're way ahead in the standings. You're way ahead in the scoreboard. Let some of these guys
No, I
get some
disagree.
action.
I think keep them playing, keep them gelling, keep things working.
They're gelling
You know,
just fine.
So the thing that got me with the sports radio is they were talking last night how, wow, the Celtics finally started taking it to the hole. This is the first game they've been doing that. And I'm like, have you guys not watched the past couple? It's been refreshing, excuse me, refreshing basketball lately, watching these guys take advantage of these matchups.
Right.
I guess last night it was a little bit more in your face because they only took 22 3-pointers.
And Tatum had a monstrous dunk that everybody remembers. But overall, for the whole year, Jalen's been taking it to the hole a lot better than he has been. Tatum's been dribble penetrating. I don't know. I think we're kind of nitpicking. This is a pretty damn good basketball team, and they're playing pretty good team basketball. They look like they're having fun. They look like they like each other. I don't know if I would critique too much about what they're doing wrong. The hell's going on over there, Snellgrove?
They just said we sounded a little muffled, so I was just trying to adjust a few things here. That's all.
All right.
I mean, I guess I understand to the point where they have to critique because, a lot of these sports things, it's a daily sports show. They can't sit and watch, but I think it's just...
They're critiquing the wrong things?
Exactly. You're critiquing the wrong things.
Yeah.
I think you can get into, if you want to critique, go down the rabbit hole that Dave just jumped down to of there's no need to be playing Jason Tatum 43
Well, that's it. He
minutes
played
tonight.
43 minutes last night. There's no need for that. And
Yeah.
No, you don't need to wear guys out before the
Right.
playoffs. Because the playoffs is every other night. And if you do go to the finals, I mean, you're talking 6 extra weeks
It's
of
almost
basketball.
another half season.
Right.
It feels like.
So why kill them now when you're this far ahead?
Yeah. 7
some
and a
of
half
these other
games ahead
guys
of second
play.
place.
If you start to lose a game, all right, let's throw these guys back in, make some adjustments, and let's get at least come out with the win. But I mean, these guys got to get some time to play too, because you got to see what you have going into the playoffs. Because what if they get into the playoffs first round? They're in game 3, game 4. Porzingis goes down. Then
I think you're screwed.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying though. Let some of these other guys play. I get Porzingis is different. He's a 7-footer. He's not one of these smaller guys. But
when we get in the playoffs, Dave, I don't want to see Luke Cornett out there.
I
want
don't
to see
either.
Xavier
I
Tillman
watched
out
him
there.
before.
No.
No, I
those
get
aren't the
that.
guys I want.
No, but you bring in a couple of guys, let them get some minutes at least to see what they're worth.
And see what they can do to see if you are in the playoffs, if there is a matchup that works for Xavier Tillman, maybe in a 10-minute spurt against a certain team.
Right.
Like right now, we're not, but they are seeing them at practice. So hopefully over the next 2 weeks or so, we can see them play 10 minutes a game just to see what we have there. Because the few times we have seen them, Springer looks a little rusty. Tillman actually looked okay with a few moves.
Tillman made some good moves.
Yeah,
I was
he's
very impressed.
a 6'7" big, which at first I was like, ugh. But you know what? At times we did use Grant Williams as a big, So it can maybe work in today's NBA. You can have a big that's a little bit undersized because he does look physical.
Yeah.
He does look pretty tough. But like Dave said, I'd like to see him play a little bit more to see what we have.
But it is good what we're seeing. So we're seeing, Jaylen Brown just... It seems like he's become more comfortable. I know we've talked over and over again about the chemistry between him and Porzingis and how it's helped Jaylen Brown. But I think these last few games, when he's dribbling the ball, when he's messing around down there, I'm not immediately going, oh no, oh no, oh no. I've relaxed a little bit, and I'm worried that I may be getting lulled into a little false sense of security because, these guys aren't really getting pressed. I know last night they pressed him a little bit. They pressed everybody a little bit on the three-point line. But I don't see Jaylen Brown doing the egregious turnovers that we saw earlier in the season.
When the game gets chaotic, Jaylen Brown gets chaotic. But when the Celtics are in control, he looks a lot better taking it to the hole. Uses his left hand a little bit. But when the game gets a little sloppy, that's when you see him dribbling coast to coast, jumping up in the air, turning around, looking to pass to somebody. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I feel like Porzingis has helped him as much off the court as he has on the court. He just seems, or maybe it was that big contract. Jaylen just seems a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
He seemed very angry over the last few years, maybe a little jealous that Tatum gets all the hype. But I think Porzingis coming in, and right away Porzingis says, you know what, I think I'm better suited to be a third or a fourth best player on a team. Like, you got a guy that comes in as a stud. Having him say that, I think that went a long way in letting Jaylen know, like, this is a team sport, and a very mature move by Porzingis.
Even the little things, Tony. Like with Tatum in the All-Star game, take my minutes and give him to Jaylen. Let him get a run for MVP. Those things seem insignificant to us.
That wouldn't have happened 2 years ago.
But to like a player like Jaylen Brown, I think that was like, oh, okay.
And you know what?
Right.
That builds up team chemistry.
Exactly.
Right? And that's your guy, and he's got your back. That's great. It's great. And I don't think Tatum has grown too, because I don't think he would have done that 2 years ago.
No.
2 years ago, he wanted the All-Star game MVP.
And he did. He 100% did.
Is that the Marcus Smart effect?
You know what? When you're around people like that, and maybe Brogdon too, we don't know what all these guys are like. Everybody tends to be like that. But then you bring in high character guys like Porzingis and Drew Holiday, and then all of a sudden it just kind of spills over. Maybe.
Seeing that you just mentioned Drew Holiday, I haven't been blown away with what I've seen from him. Because I still see, if you want to talk about turnovers, I still see him making some careless turnovers. And I think it's a little bit more glaring for him because he was supposed to be that guy that settles, the settling force. He was supposed to be the guy that when things got chaotic at the end of the game, oh, we got Drew Holiday now. So when I see him make those moves, I'm like, that's what worries me a little bit.
But I do think Drew Holiday, out of all the guys, has had to take the biggest step back for this to work. Because in Milwaukee, he was the number 2 guy. Middleton often wasn't there. And now he's got to be, with Derek White having a great season, Drew Holiday is kind of like your number 5 guy. And I think him taking that step back, and now at the end of the game, the ball's in Tatum's hands. It's not even in Drew Holiday's hands for the most part. And he is shooting a high percentage from corner 3, leading the NBA. And I think he's just, maybe hasn't had as good of a season to the naked eye, but he's been very, very mature. And maybe he's another piece that has allowed all these guys to mature at the same time.
I think the Porzingis and Derek White are really the unsung heroes.
Derek White on the
maybe
court.
Unsung is not the correct word, but they are the backbone of this team. This team is going to go as far as Derek White and Porzingis. But Derek White is leading.
I know, and Derek White is great. But if Derek White goes down, then I think Drew Holiday kind of steps up.
I guess you hope you have. Yes.
If Porzingis goes down, there's nothing else like that. He is the unicorn. He is kind of like our version of Garnett was 10 years ago, or whatever. God, we're getting old. 16 years ago. He's the... I just think he means so much to this team.
100%. If he goes down, that's... I think you can kind of hang it up for this team if he goes down.
But if Derek White goes down, I think we still have a shot to win it.
Oh, I know, but it's a big hole.
It's a big hole.
It's a big hole.
Yeah.
It's a big ask for the rest of the team.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
So we 9 games in a row, 8 games in the road. So
I think they have 3 games next week on national TV.
Yes. Yep.
And they have Golden State, which they always suck against.
But we go Dallas, Golden State, and Cleveland, and I know Cleveland doesn't sound that sexy, but they're the number two team.
seed.
Yeah. Golden State obviously always gives us fits.
Yep.
And Dallas, it's the Kyrie. Kyrie likes to, and it's back here.
And it's Luka, and it's they got talent.
Do we think we see Kyrie? Kyrie.
He played yesterday.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking back in Boston.
Yeah, he kind of avoids Boston, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
I think
100%.
enough time has gone by, and Dallas needs to win games. Yeah, I think he plays.
I think it's going to be another scheduled day off.
Oh, well, all right. I think he plays.
I'm rooting for it to be a day off because
Yeah.
I want the legacy to continue.
Yeah. Because if he plays, eventually the drama comes to an end. Right? Nobody right now is missing Kyrie. Nobody's missing Marcus Smart. Nobody's missing Rob Williams. If you win games, nobody cares about any past players.
No.
But if he plays, then all that drama, like they're not going to
Boston
boo him every
fans
time.
don't want to let it go, though.
Yeah, but it gets to a point where it's a little bit more insignificant, right?
Yeah.
Like when he was on Brooklyn and our team was kind of struggling, it was more significant. But now it's like, whatever.
I can also see Kyrie coming and dropping 40.
Oh yeah, Kyrie is very, very talented. Very
And he's
talented.
he's missed a lot of games this year, but he still had a sneaky good year this year. And
Yeah.
he's been quiet.
Well, when Luka is the star of your team, you're going to play second fiddle. But Kyrie is still very, very talented, and he can hurt you.
Again, though, he's been quiet.
Yeah.
This is the first season.
quiet
in a
as
while-
far not on the court.
Yeah,
quiet
sorry, I
as far as
should
like
say.
stupid
Shut his
drama.
mouth.
Yeah. So, which has been, I think, huge, and I almost think that's the Luka effect. I think Luka had a little saying like,
do you
"Hey,
think he's been humbled a little bit? Like it didn't work in Boston, it didn't work in Brooklyn,
Maybe he finally grew up.
or maybe it's like, you know what? At some point, I got to stop messing around because there's only so many teams left,
you would hope
right?
that
So
he
maybe
got
that's
that.
what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, so that's it.
All right. But overall, you got to be very, very. I know Boston fans tend to be a little bit negative, but you got to be very happy with the Celtics as they stand right now in the direction they're going.
Yes, if they stay healthy, I mean, they should win the championship.
West is pretty good. They should get through the East, I think, pretty easily. The West is pretty good. Denver, the Clippers.
The Clippers are scary.
Clippers
Tony.
is scary.
The Clippers are a
Denver's
team.
scary.
Yeah,
I'm not as afraid of
but
Denver.
I mean, someone's going to knock one of them out.
Yes. You only have to play one. You only have to play one.
I think we said a couple weeks ago, the saving grace is all these good teams in the West.
Yeah, are in the West.
We only have to play one.
Yeah.
And if you have one team just kind of be sneaky good and steal a series and knock out.
It could be someone like Oklahoma City, believe it or not.
Yeah.
They could knock off the Clippers, you know?
Yeah.
So we're on this high with the Celtics. Do we want to really bring it? You got to stop banging that down.
Oh, sorry. Is that...
Let's bring things back down to the doom and gloom.
All right,
Because
we
there's
got
been-
plenty of teams to choose from.
He's going to go with Bruins.
Yeah, I have no idea what just happened to all the sound.
It's from Tony Slam.
Yeah, thanks, Tony.
My bad. Probably a good time for me to leave.
Yeah, that's odd that it just completely died
Am
like
I?
that.
Ah,
Let's try one more time here.
no,
No,
not
nothing.
going to get it.
Not gonna get anything here.
We're going to have to hire a sound guy.
Yeah, we definitely are, because that's no fun that it just died like that.
They work for peanuts.
Well, all right. Oh, what's Sean saying here? Oh, there it is.
There it is. It's working now.
Thanks, Sean. You time in with your comment? It all depends on what Jaylen Brown shows up for the playoffs. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Sean, because if he starts dribbling the ball away and trying to become the man, and
I still think it's the Porzingis factor even with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
So if Porzingis is there, then it stabilizes Brown's game. If he's out, yeah, you're going to see an erratic Brown. So we'll see. It's going to be a fun playoff for them.
definitely.
I mean, they should get to the finals. I don't want to say no problem, but it should be, fairly easy to get there.
It's nice watching the Celtics this year hold leads, right? Because the Celtics of last year would blow the game every time. They'd get up in a lead, and then they would blow it.
You mean like the Bruins?
Yes, what the Bruins are doing this year is absolutely awful.
Giving up 40
There we
plus
go.
shots a game.
There's the Bruins lead.
There it is.
Ah,
There's a better way to get into that segment.
that is a team.
So,
that repetitively blows it in the third period.
In the last minute of the game.
Oh, I mean,
every time you pull a goalie and they can't keep the puck out of the net. It's absolutely pathetic.
Blew it against Seattle, blew it against Vancouver, blew it against Calgary. We didn't blow it against Edmonton, but we did blow a 4-1 lead.
Yeah. So not playing great. And like we've
I'm
talked
sorry,
about,
that is an understatement, Dave. Not
like
playing great. They're
like
playing.
we've talked about all year. I mean, the goaltending has been solid, and when the goaltending has a bad night, they get lit up. But when they're on their game, they're holding teams to 1, 2, 3 goals, and we have a lead with a minute left, and you give up that tying goal, and then you go to overtime where you absolutely suck.
0-14.
Yeah, I mean,
in overtime games this year. It is a pretty much lock right now that if you're doing live game betting and the Bruins go to overtime, they lose.
And one of the most frustrating things is that Dolan, he traded away every draft pick he has this year and last year and next year, whatever, to get players that he thought was going to win a cup last year, and they failed in the first round. And he lost every one of those players in free agency.
But I don't hate any one of the moves that he made last year.
No, they were great if they didn't fail.
Yeah.
But why do they fail? Because they keep rolling the same core players onto the ice every year. It's the same guys. And this year, they keep talking about, having to make a trade. But you have no draft picks to trade with, and your only prospects, the defenseman, you don't want to trade him, Lohrei. Patra's hurt for the year. No one's going to trade for him. And Lysell is still an unknown, having a great year. Yes, Jake, it is time to trade Ullmark. I hate to see one of those goalies go because they've been great together. But, yeah, he's one of the few pieces that the Bruins have to trade. And then the news comes out that the contract extension talks have broken down with DeBrusk. Trade the guy.
I'm happy they've broken down, though.
Me too. They should have traded him 4 years ago when he was actually valuable.
Yeah. Teams
were calling the Bruins, we want DeBrusk. And here we are now. You're calling around, hey, do you want DeBrusk?
You still want DeBrusk? Yeah. He's 84 years old. You want DeBrusk?
You still offering up a first-round pick for DeBrusk?
I think DeBrusk has 1 point in the last 15 games.
Yeah, he's having a terrible season. He should have been out of here years ago. He should have been out of here when Cassidy was coaching the team. Cassidy knew it. Sweeney couldn't make the deal. Sweeney was trying to get too much for him. And then all of a sudden he broke out and he has a 20-goal season. And they're like, see, there's the DeBrusk we've all been waiting for. Yeah, for 1 season,
Fool's gold.
2 seasons. I mean, gold. He's fun to watch at times, but he's not a guy that you get excited about every time he's on the ice. And not just him, they're sticking with the Carlos, the Grizzlies, Lindholm. I said it when they traded for him. The guy's soft. And he had a great regular season 2 years in a row, and everyone's like, oh, you were wrong about him. And 2 years in a row in the playoffs, he got hit a couple times, and you didn't hear from him again. He was out there, but you didn't know it.
Yeah.
So they keep picking up guys that aren't playoff performers.
But Dave, even more, with the guys that we're picking up that aren't playoff performers, what about just our normal stars right now? Our Marchands, our Pasternaks, our McAvoys. Nobody's stepping up.
Are zoning in on just stopping them, and they're shutting them down. You hit those guys enough, it takes them off their game. And that's what teams are doing. They're beating up the stars on this team, and no one else can step in and do anything about it. The Rangers just brought in a kid who's 6'7",
beating the bag out of everybody.
And he's gotten into 4 fights already. He's only been in the league for 5 games, I think.
If you follow the Probably Wrong Instagram page, we put up something last week about it, the amount of penalty minutes he's had.
Yeah.
And he just wants to brawl.
Yeah.
I know, and it's nice.
Well, if you see the kid, Tony, check out one of his fights. He looks like he's just a young kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
What did they say? It was his 4th game in, and they had an interview or a picture of him, and his nose is mangled, his eyes all
Black
bruised.
eye. Yeah,
So-
that's
He's there for a purpose.
Oh yeah.
yeah, and that's why the Rangers are going to be one of the top teams in the playoffs this year. They have
They're
the
muscling
stars,
guys.
and then they have
Guys to protect those stars.
yeah.
Yep.
And we don't have it. We had one, but
And he beat the crap out of his wife.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gone.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We have to say that now.
Charges were
Allegedly.
dropped.
Charges were
Okay.
dropped.
All
You know,
right.
he's going into the alcohol
right,
program,
buddy.
and all will be forgiven in Bruins Nation.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I don't think Sweeney's going to forgive him. He's not bringing him back. So, but that was the guy you brought in.
To do that, right?
Yeah, and they couldn't. I mean, I don't think it's even that hard to replace it. All you got to do is look around the league. There's tough guys on other teams that you can trade, a bag of pucks for.
Dave, I've given up. There'll be no trades.
They're gonna make a trade.
given
It's just what do they finally move on from some of these guys that are just same old story every year? Like I said, Grzelcyk, Carlo, DeBrusque. Those are the 3 biggest names that come to mind when it's the same story every year. I honestly, if I'm going into the trade deadline, I have maybe McAvoy, Marchand, and Pasternak that are off
Untouchable.
limits, and then after that,
What about the
what are you
Brusque?
offering?
What about the Brusque?
What did you say? The trade deadline is March 8th.
March 8th, yeah.
So we have another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
Another 2 weeks till there's no fireworks. Oh, Tony, I couldn't get it to do it.
Not even 2 weeks. You got to hold it up there. It's
There it is.
gotta stay up longer.
No fireworks. There'll be no fireworks this
No
year.
fireworks.
it's about 9 days. Because February
Is
is a
it?
short
Yeah,
month.
that's right. Yeah, Friday is March 1st.
So you got about 9 days. Not even 2 weeks. Got to make a move quick.
We got a big week ahead of us. We got Thursday night. We're going up against Vancouver. Then we have
Thursday night, Vegas.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Playing Vegas
Wow,
tomorrow.
Vegas. Yep. Vegas, Islanders, Toronto, which is going to be a sneaky good game because that's a team that if we make in the playoffs, we've owned.
Probably
but this is
playing
the
them in
year
the
that
first round. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto gets us. And then we have, before we get on the show next week, we have Edmonton again. So
yes, I'm going to that Edmonton game.
we have it. I'm just looking at the schedule ahead.
This is like a Bruins hour.
We have a very
It's
tough.
supposed to be a Bruins minute.
We have a very tough schedule coming up.
Well, because they're not that good, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if
No,
you were
but they're the
good,
number 1 team, number 2 team
They're
in the
still,
league.
Yeah,
they
but-
still have.
but it's kind of like the Celtics from 2 years ago. They were the number 1, number 2 team, but they weren't that good.
They keep losing in the playoffs and getting points, and that's what's keeping them their head above water.
Yeah. So, all right. I can see Tony's done with the
Tony
Bruins.
is dying to
Bruins
talk
hour.
about the Boston Red Sox
Dying to take a nap after that.
and that they're going to use real ketchup this year.
That is the major offseason acquisition from your Boston Red Sox. They brought in new ketchup. We needed
Is
some
it-
starting pitching,
is it called-
maybe another bat. Instead, they brought in ketchup.
Is it Fenway ketchup or is
Ooh,
it
these guys
Boston
are
Red
fucking
Sox
idiots.
ketchup?
And they put it out there like they did us like a great service. We want to compete with the Yankees and the Astros. No, we're getting ketchup. Oh, what a bunch of pricks.
Again, to plug the page, go on, if you need a visual, go on the Probably Wrong Instagram page, look in the story. You will see the ad that they put out advertising new ketchup in Fenway this year. Real ketchup.
Probably
not
good,
just, not
probably
just
good ketchup, but
real ketchup.
not what we wanted.
So you've been
Is it an extra charge?
probably.
Oh, I'm sure.
They need
I'm
to make
sure.
money. They can't sign anybody. They don't have
That's-
enough money. They gotta charge for ketchup this
It's
year.
$10 for a hot dog, and that'll be
Yeah.
$4 for the
Yeah,
ketchup.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough of the Red Sox.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what's funny, though? I was talking to my brother about that, and I said, you know what I bet you this team is doing with John Henry? Because John Henry was an options guy, he was a numbers guy, and I get a few rich friends. And what they do is they take equity from one house to buy another house, and then they take equity from that same first house to buy another house, and then they turn one house into 6 or 7 houses.
Oh, that's no.
100% what the Red Sox are doing
I
right
know
now,
rich
right?
people need to tell you that. It's
So
there.
there's
You've
no way,
seen
there's no
that.
way they're going to sell this team.
So once they came into what came after the Red Sox, they had Liverpool,
Pittsburgh Penguins, F1 Racing.
Yep.
They're all bought by the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, yeah, and now seeing all these big acquisitions has brought in more money. It's brought in people like LeBron and
Right. So
other people, I guess.
There's no way John Henry's going to sell the team because that's like his home base of buying everything else. So we're stuck. People are like, I think he's going to sell. He ain't selling anything.
You know what made me... This made me sick to my stomach. You delusional, hardcore Red Sox fans.
Are there any left?
I'm reading a Red Sox page today because I don't know why I was reading it, but I was just reading. I think I was reading it more to piss myself off at the people. And the amount of people that already had bought their season tickets, that are out there to support this team through thick and through thin, that, you know...
At some point, it will come to an end. It will come to an end. At some point.
Talking about the roster that they've constructed.
Oh, no, the roster sucks.
I'm like, you people are brainwashed.
Yeah.
I can't believe after these past 2 seasons, Tony, that these people are still out there.
Yeah. The worst part about this Red Sox team is you're not that far away from winning 85 games. If you win 85 games, you can make the playoffs. Arizona won 84 last year.
Yep.
Because if you break down that lineup, all right, you got, bear with me here, Devers 2, Story 3, Casas 4, Tyler O'Neill 5, Yoshida 6, Adam Duvall, they're supposed to sign him 7. That's a pretty good lineup. Yeah. That's pretty good. And it's going to score some runs. If you brought in a little bit of pitching, you'd be right in the mix.
In a name, you'd be right there.
Yeah. Even if it's Jordan Montgomery, it gets you one step closer to winning 85 games. And then at the trade deadline, you can see what you need for pieces, and you give it a shot. Yeah. This team's not really even trying.
You sound like the people in that Red Sox group.
Well, I think the frustrating part is Vegas has them at 79 wins. It's not going to be that much more to get them to 85. Yeah. But they're not going to do it.
You know what I find amusing is Red Sox fans complaining about what the Dodgers are doing. And I had to listen to that from some people recently, and I was like...
You were the Dodgers.
You should be the Dodgers.
The Red Sox did all this in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and they should be doing it now.
Yeah.
And now you hate the Dodgers for doing it.
I'm not hating the Dodgers.
Because the Red Sox stopped doing it.
Right.
The first thing the Red Sox did was traded Mookie Betts to the Dodgers.
Yep.
And that was the transformation of these two teams.
Yeah.
You know, so with the Red Sox, they're still on the Montgomery price is still too high. They're still trying to work with Montgomery. Why don't you just do what the Dodgers did and defer the money?
They don't know how.
Like,
they
the
don't know
blueprint
how.
is out there.
The issue is not that the price tag is too high. The issue is they don't want to pay him. And I think the Sox are looking at it as like, if we go to bat with this team, we're probably going to make, say, $30 million. If we bring in Montgomery and pay him X amount of dollars, the profit's still going to be the same. So what's the point? I think they're just looking at it as a business in numbers, and I don't think they really want to win. Because if they wanted to win, they're not talking about trading Kenley Jansen, who's their closer in the bullpen. Not that he's great, but he's their closer, and he had a decent season last year. You don't trade him to cut $10 million. You need that guy this year.
I think you're absolutely correct.
They don't want to win.
I think you absolutely nailed it. They don't want to win. They just want to use it as a cash grab.
Yeah.
You know?
It sucks. And you're the only sport in town for a few months. It's the only sport that you have everyone's eyes for a few months by itself. There's no other games going on.
Right.
And you have a perfect opportunity to take advantage of this great sports fan base, and you don't want to do it. It sucks. It sucks.
The frustration is echoed through here every week. It's going to be a long season of just...
Yeah, and the players were pissed last year. They played hard up until the trade deadline. They were bullshit. They bullshit because they didn't bring in any pieces to help them. They felt like they did their job, and they kept them in it. They're in wild card contention.
Right,
I think they had a playoff spot. And then...
Nothing at the trade deadline.
And it's deflating.
Right.
Yankees get a piece, Orioles get a piece, everyone's getting pieces, and you're stuck there. We got Trevor Story coming back in 6 weeks. Like,
Chris Sale's coming back.
Chris Sale's coming back again.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Old reliable.
Yeah. He actually pitched pretty well yesterday.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
Sale,
he's going to win the
I
Cy
think
Young.
we shot that. I called that. I said that he was going to win this and National League Cy Young this year. He's going to be dominant for 1 year.
That would be quite the story.
Yeah, I think they're going to manage his innings. Hopefully make him get to the playoffs. Spencer Strider.
Yep.
is the man. He's going to win NL Cy Young. But you know what? They're going to get a lot. If Chris Sale can stay healthy, that's going to be a big piece. It's going to be the Braves versus the Dodgers in the NL. Those two teams are stacked.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Destined to play.
stacked. Yeah, that's great. It's great.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Also looking forward to New England Patriots free agency.
When does that start?
Because after what Eliot Wolf said the other day, it gives us a glimmer of hope that this team is going to spend some of their league leading.
So,
Go, DiSciullo.
I was told they are required to spend a specific amount every year. So they have over around $100 million to spend, but they have to
At least at the low end of it.
They don't have to this year. They have, even though the Patriots are 28th in the league in spending, they are top 5 of that cap bubble spending.
Okay.
So they've been spending enough money to keep themselves in the top 5 of the league, so that this year they don't have to spend that money. So yeah, your glimmer of hope there went right out the window.
And it's funny, like Eliot Wolf, like he can come out and say the right things, and hopefully he means it. But Breslow came out, said the right things.
Yeah.
And Breslow said, you know what, this offseason didn't go, and Breslow's the Red Sox GM,
I have that on the...
saying, you know what, it didn't really go the way I anticipated. I think Breslow came here thinking he would be able to spend money, and then he wasn't allowed to. Eliot Wolf, hopefully they let him spend money.
I have that right here, Dave.
All right.
But what gives me, like I just said, the hope with that is not only did he say the right things, Jared Mayo is talking about spending money. This whole team is talking about spending money. Robert Kraft is talking about doing what it takes to get this team.
Yeah, but he never said I'm going to spend money. We need him to say I'm going to spend $100 million this year.
I heard explosive offensive players.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the
All right,
phrases
like
I heard.
just like Tyquan Thornton. Yeah, very explosive.
So the one thing that we could take away from the Patriots that isn't the Red Sox is they have enough awareness. We've seen they're aware of everything. They're aware of the Red Sox. They're aware of the backlash that they have gotten.
Yep.
They don't want to do that. They want to keep the negative press on the Red Sox.
Right,
now, I'm
right,
not saying they're going to sign 4, 5, 6 players. They might sign one guy that's near the top and then overspend on a lot of guys in the middle, so they make a lot of movements. And you know, I'm fine with that.
As long as they're spending money, I'm okay with it. I think the Red Sox don't care. Not to get off the Patriots, but I think John Henry doesn't do interviews anymore. He doesn't care. So he doesn't have to feel the feedback. Robert Kraft is in the face of the media, so I think he does care more, and hopefully we see it in him spending money this offseason.
Speaking of face in the media, and yes, Jake commented on this right here, is the Patriots 2023 NFLPA report card came out.
All right, let's read it.
And you want to talk about damning. So, they asked all 32, they go through all 32 teams. I forget how many players that they asked, but it's a good amount.
And can we take each one at a time and comment on each one?
Treatment of families. The Patriots dead last.
F minus.
F minus. 32 out of 32.
Minus.
So I don't have it up here, but what it is you know, they don't have the team facilities. They don't have the room that they put all the family in. They don't have the places to take care of the kids. They don't have, so they are dead last in that.
Not a good look. No. Not a good look. All right.
You have anything else to comment
No,
on that?
I'm waiting for the next one.
Food. They ranked 14 out of 32.
All right, so
B minus.
Pete Carroll said when he was here, he was trying to feed the athletes, and Robert Kraft was like, "No, we can't feed them that good."
Yeah.
So I think they ended up eating bologna sandwiches and chips.
That was the big story beginning of this year. Yes. There was pictures that they were styrofoam plates and ham sandwiches, bologna sandwiches.
That's interesting.
Chicken salad.
Yeah, and like, oh, we're gonna get T. Higgins. Like that's what. Like this guy won't even feed people like real meals. It's embarrassing.
To read off a couple of these comments here, Jake is saying he doesn't understand the daycare thing. These guys are multimillionaires. Get a nanny. So not everybody. You got to remember, there's 60-something guys on that team. A lot of these guys aren't multimillionaires, Jake. A lot of these guys, I mean, they're making, we'll just say league minimum for some of these guys is $500,000. they don't get $500,000 up front. And a lot of with the NFL, the guys on the lower end of the spectrum get a huge chunk of that money gone. Now, I'm not crying poor mouth, but you need somewhere for the kids.
Right, and here's another thing, too. That guy making $500,000, he might only be in the league that 1 or 2 years. So he makes that once or twice. Yeah. And then you got to pay your agent, you got to pay your taxes. Chances are you might have family members that need some help. And before you know it...
And Jake, this is a multi-billion-dollar operation.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to not put a daycare?
Yeah.
You know, you have...
It's actually pretty simple. Yeah.
You got all
that. The YMCA's got a daycare.
You got all that property there. You know, you're putting up buildings and stores and everything else. You could put up a daycare.
Yeah, they could figure that out.
Yeah, that's the little things.
Yeah. So then we come up with locker room, C-. 20. They rank 20 out of 32 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, again, these are...
Seems like it's an easy upgrade.
Yeah.
But I've also read that, like, at the Garden, the visitors' locker room is pretty small and.
But this isn't just the visitors. This is
both
their own locker room they're talking about. This is ranking. You know what the Patriots basically have to offer. You know. And
ironically, the Red Sox actually are known for having a good locker room. They are. Like they spent money on their locker room, but Patriots obviously haven't on theirs.
No. So this brings us to the training staff and the weight room. So the training staff got a B-, 21 out of 32. I mean, that seemed to be addressed. They seem to hire a new...
Yeah, but this is last year's.
No. What I'm saying is just for this year.
Okay, yeah,
They hired a new training staff. They have a new strength and conditioning coordinator, so maybe they went after that. But the weight... This is another one that I don't understand. The weight room, an F, 32 out of 32.
Huh.
How could you be that bad? I mean, I would think the weight room
is what you do.
Yeah.
These guys, when they're not playing football, they're lifting weights.
Exactly.
Training. You would think.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what these guys do.
No, they should 100%. I mean, there's no reason to not, like, hey, get some new weights. I mean, if the YMCA can do it, you can do it. Yeah. Again, this is something that it just baffles me for a multi-billion-dollar organization.
Especially, you know, where Gillette was fairly new. I mean, obviously it's getting kind of old at this point, but fairly new, and they do upgrades to it all the time. You'd think they would be in the top of the league with some of this stuff.
And hand in hand, strength coaches, 29 out of 32, ranked a C.
Okay.
You know? And the other thing before I get too far into the end of this is, if I remember correctly, the 2022 NFLPA report card was also this bad. Because I can remember the family daycare thing and players complaining about the weight room.
Well, it makes sense. If nothing really changed, then you're going to get similar grades.
Yeah,
this one blows my mind. Team travel. They ranked 22 out of 32. You have a brand new jet plane.
Well, my buddy wrote that same exact thing. He said, you know what? This guy travels on his own private jets.
Yeah.
But
they have a New England Patriots jet plane.
Yeah.
Wasn't that big...
Yeah, something Air Force One, right?
Yeah, they have
what do they call it?
two
Maybe
planes.
It's just for show?
Yeah.
No, they have two planes. That's what they take in and out. Remember he chartered them all to get masks for COVID. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Head coach, B- for last year. That was Belichick. Owner, D+.
I mean, he deserves that.
Yeah.
It goes to show you, though, when the players that probably know more than we do, that we didn't think like Belichick, maybe they know more than what we do. Maybe this is a lot more on Kraft than it is Belichick as far as not finding players.
I think everything that we just listed
is Kraft.
It's all Kraft. Because the overall ranking in the league is they rank 29th out of 32 teams.
And these are the players that are saying, you know what? Bill is okay. Bill is just the coach. This is above the coach, right? The training facility, that's above the coach. Team travel, that's above the coach. A lot of this falls on, and that's why I haven't really been watching the documentary, because I heard it's just bashing on Belichick.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But I want to touch base on, Jacob here wrote, Chiefs owner got an F-. The Arrowhead is an old-ass stadium.
Yeah, that's
like
40 or 50 years
old.
When you look at it from like the overhead view, you can tell it's old.
And the fans love Arrowhead. That's the difference there. and I'm not trying to stand because it's the Chiefs and this and that. The fans love Arrowhead. It's an old-ass stadium.
Yep.
I mean...
And you know what?
For Robert Kraft, Gillette is a fairly new stadium.
Yeah.
They're dumping money all over around Gillette. So when I see this, I think it's a more damning effect.
They dump money into what makes them more money, but they don't take care of their people, it sounds like.
Yes.
If this will make us more money, we'll put money into it. But as far as team travel, taking care of these guys' families, we're not going to do it because it doesn't really make us more money. And as far as those Chiefs players loving Arrowhead, we know what that's like because, or Chiefs fans, we love Fenway Park. That's not a great stadium. The stadium's terrible. You can't even sit next to the person.
Stadium.
It's horrible. But as fans, we like it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I read that wrong, Jake? It was just the owner that got an F? Okay, my bad. I thought it was the overall grade of the team got an F. Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of owners. I mean, those Chargers owners, they can't stand. He's one of the worst.
If you got the best quarterback in football, though, you can get away with it, I guess.
I want to see how the rest of the league matched up.
And he's willing to pay his players.
Yeah, he's willing to pay his players.
And he brings in new players all the time.
So, the Dynasty series. So I'm all caught up. I love it. I love everything about it. I don't think they're trashing Bill. I mean, I know you haven't seen it, but Bill's not doing himself any favors on the show.
According to Chad Campbell.
He is sitting... I mean, they're asking him questions. He is grunting. I'm not answering that. I don't need to answer that. I've gone over that before. I mean, come on. Like how...
I kind of love the miserable old man.
Oh, but it's just... You go through all these... I mean, as much as I can't stand Kraft when he gets on the mic, I mean, everybody is talking. Everybody is... It's almost like a sales job. And then you have Belichick, the same old Belichick. Belichick really hasn't given anything.
But
it's just been...
I mean, they're asking him the Spygate stuff. He
doesn't
want to talk about it.
They're asking everybody the Spygate stuff. It's not just Belichick. They're asking everybody. Everybody's talking about it.
But that ultimately falls on Belichick.
And it's still... But
hold on, though. Now, I saw one clip where, Kraft said he went into Belichick's office and said something about, how does this affect us from 1 to 100? And Bill said 1, and he said he called him a schmuck. Yeah. So the owner called Bill Belichick a schmuck. When? Back in 2003, 2004? You didn't move on from him then? If you thought he was a schmuck?
He called him a schmuck because
How important
it was. He says, if you're going to do this and it's got no importance and you're going to risk your reputation and our reputation for something that you don't even think is important, then you're a schmuck for doing it.
I don't think he called him a schmuck.
But he kept him around. I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think he called. I think
he kept him around.
I think Robert Kraft's full of shit.
Years.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think he called him a schmuck.
But I'm just the basis of it.
You're an idiot for doing it. If you don't gain like a huge advantage, what's the point of risking?
Yeah.
But I think Kraft's full of shit. He also said that, from what I heard, that it was him and Bill that made the decision to play Brady after Bledsoe got hurt. Brady was actually the number 4 quarterback.
No, he didn't say that.
That's what I heard. I might have heard incorrect. I didn't watch it.
No. Brady was saying it was. I mean, Bill was saying that he did it. Basically, the other coaches and Ernie Adams was also talking about it. That if this fails, it's our ass. Because
Charlie Weiss, right? I remember back in the day. That was Charlie. I remember Bill.
But basically, the whole coaching staff rallied together and said, if this doesn't work, it's our ass.
Okay.
Because Kraft wanted Bledsoe.
No. When Bledsoe got hurt, Brady was the 4th quarterback. They had Gus Frerotte, they had Michael Bishop, and they brought in Brady to come into that game and start the next game.
Right.
Not talking about when Brady rolled his ankle, or when Bledsoe was ready to come back. I might have heard it incorrectly, but from what I heard from multiple times, that it was a owner and coach decision to start Brady when Belichick got hurt the first time, over Frerotte, over Bishop.
It was all Brady. Like we're gonna give this guy the shot.
All right, I'm probably not gonna watch it. Yeah, he's right. Chad, I'm assuming
he's talking about me.
Probably wrong, probably right.
But it's a great. The nostalgia value. I love how they dive into it. I love with the Spygate. This is the first time that I saw when they're actually showing the video of the signals that they were talking about. Just all like the old clips, everything. Tony, it's great. You're really missing it.
I'm sure it is great.
You like football? It's worth. If you sit down and watch it, I guarantee you're gonna get sucked into watching it all.
Right. But it kind of bothers me that now we have on video Kraft calling Belichick a schmuck, after Belichick is off the team. Why didn't you release this 2 years ago when you had all the footage?
This may be new to us. These guys all saw this at the beginning of the year. This isn't new.
Okay.
You got to remember all the production and craft that I'm pretty sure back in November.
I don't know. My buddy was on Biggest Loser. And
That's a live TV show.
No, it wasn't live.
No, Biggest Loser and those shows like that on TV are like weekly. Like it's supposed to be like every week they're new shows. No. They're.
But by the time he was home and the show was over, he had never seen an episode.
Okay, I'm misspeaking.
You know, and he's like, dude, they kind of cut it in pieces, and it was so much different.
You're absolutely right.
You know, so like maybe they knew the gist of it, but then when Bill Belichick's watching this for the first time, like we are. I don't think he watched it.
I think he knew he was on his way out in this.
Right. But he doesn't know that Kraft called him a schmuck, because I don't think Kraft said that in real life.
I don't know. I mean,
he talked about pretty much all season. Why did they keep him around? If that's how he felt about him, why'd you keep him around the whole season?
And why would you give him choice to move on from Tom Brady?
I don't think that's how he felt about him. I think that's how he felt about the decision. That decision.
Okay.
If that was
Fair.
It wasn't like I feel Bill Belichick's a schmuck. I feel like you're a schmuck for making that decision.
Yeah, well, he cost him quite a bit of money on the
and embarrassment,
the fines and everything. Yeah, the embarrassment. I mean,
yeah.
And that's all we, as a Patriots fan, that's all you hear from, people that hate the Patriots is about all the cheating, and it's.
I don't know. I think Randy Moss going through that season.
I love
the
Randy
behind
Moss.
the scenes, the stuff talking about him and Tom Brady. It's awesome. I can't wait till tomorrow night to watch the next couple episodes when they come out.
You know what? I want to have Randy Moss as one of my 3 at the dinner table. I'm going to bounce Larry Bird.
I thought about
Give me
that
Randy
earlier.
Moss. Give me Randy Moss.
I was watching the Edelman podcast, and he was talking about how Randy Moss used to treat him as a rookie.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty funny stuff.
And some of that stuff, but it's just like he was just like, we're lining up at the line of scrimmage, and Brady just gives me that go, and like I knew, we were gonna eat, and it was just
I love when you watch those old highlights, he would take 2 steps and throw his hand up.
Yeah. I'm open.
I love that.
Even when he's covered.
Just throw it to him.
During his prime, maybe the best receiver of all time.
Yeah, I can say
during
that.
His
during
prime,
his prime. Yep.
Like, was running a 4.2. He was tall. He would catch everything. You could triple. He was.
Except in the Super Bowl when they went 18-1.
I don't even know if he was in his prime by the time he got to the Patriots.
I know I wasn't the biggest Patriot fans, but I did want to see a 19-0 team.
It's just something to talk about.
Yeah. It'd been great to say I witnessed a 19-0 team. And then this dives into that game big time.
Yeah.
And
that season, they were loaded.
Yeah.
Got completely shut down.
Yeah. And you forget, or at least I forgot, of how many times in that last play before he threw it to David Tyree, the Patriots defense had Eli. And how many times he spun out.
Adalius Thomas had him, right?
He spun out of 3 different.
Ty Warren let him go because he didn't want to get a roughing the pass.
Yeah, penalty. Yeah.
Oh, and that throw. Oh. And then what I was just talking about the Randy Moss is when the Patriots had the ball back and he told Randy Moss to go. And you can just see the heartbreak in his face as he's talking about, like, it was on my fingertips. Yeah. It was there, and it'll haunt me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. It's a shame.
It was on my fingertips.
Yeah, and that's another guy that's really matured as he's gotten older in life, because he came in, had a lot of problems in high school, going to Marshall, and even early on in his career.
Years in the league.
Yeah.
Randy Moss. So one of the things that I just recently watched, obviously we keep talking about the Edelman podcast, is Edelman was talking. So Bill Belichick loved Tiger Woods.
Oh yeah.
You heard that?
Hey Bill. Hey Bill.
So he came and he gave this big rah of why Tiger wins it and how he's always dedicated. And
focused.
There's no off season with him. There's first thing in the morning
all
to
business.
night, all business. And then I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, all the crap hit the fan with Tiger.
And then Edelman does the Randy Moss voice. Hey, Bill, what's up with your boy Tiger? And then I guess the whole team just started laughing.
I guess they were all running.
Yeah.
They were all running, and it was Randy Moss way off, and Bill just knew. He was like, Bill knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It's great.
Those are the things I love. Those are the things I love to hear. Oh. Well,
all right,
on that note,
good stuff. Patriots will suck for a long time now.
Yep. But go back and watch the Dynasty. Enjoy, relive it.
I'm not there yet.
No, it's interesting. It's good. So, one of the other things I saw, I know we were bashing a couple weeks ago about the Netflix and the Red Sox special.
Okay.
All right. They're now doing a Montreal Expos movie.
All right.
About how they left in 2004. And
Right.
it seems to be that, like, a lot of the old players, a lot of the guys that were there that league, Vlad Guerrero, I guess, is going to have a good part in it.
I
think
love
you're going to
Vlad.
see a little Marquise Grissom.
Oh, yeah. Larry Walker, Delino DiShields.
I mean, that's something. I don't want to see this Red Sox.
Pedro Martinez was there.
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson
Yeah,
for a
Randy
short
Johnson.
time.
But he was gone long before that 2004
Yeah,
season.
No, I know, but I mean,
he was part of that.
so was
yeah.
Pedro. When
Yeah,
Red Sox had him
Pedro's,
in the late '90s.
No, but I mean, Vlad was gone by that time, too. I think it was down to...
They were down to not much by then.
I mean, that
They
was
knew
still...
they were moving.
That was still one of their best years, right? Wasn't the 2004 year the year that they left,
I
or was
think
it the year prior?
Yeah, I think 94 they had a historic season, and that's when baseball went on strike, right? Was it
Yes.
94? Where they were about to break records, and they had the best team in baseball. And who knows, if baseball doesn't go on strike, is Montreal still a team now? They are now the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
But if they win a championship, does that change everything? We'll never know.
It could have.
It could have.
It could have. But I mean, I just want to see the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
how the. I mean, because I remember when Baltimore left, right? There was the huge uproar. I don't remember there being that much of an uproar.
Cleveland, right?
No. When I'm sorry, wasn't it the
Cleveland left and they went
Cleveland
to
left in the middle of the night? Yeah, sorry, yeah. I don't remember that. I don't remember the big outroar in Montreal.
No, maybe because it's up in Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal, not a big baseball city that I can remember.
Right.
They were one of those teams that they were very good at drafting. They would bring in all these prospects that would turn into stars, and then
They'd have to trade them off. It was
for
kind of
more
like
picks.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford to pay people. They
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of people going to games.
The Royals up until this year.
Yeah.
So if we want to stay with topics in the news, Cam Newton.
Oh, I kind of feel bad for Cam Newton here.
Yeah.
We'll do Cam Newton, then can we do that? Because that's kind of juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't know, Cam Newton was out, I think at Disneyland, and Cam Newton wears, like, stupid hats. Whatever, they could be stupid. I believe...
So it was at his... So Cam Newton does the backstory with this. Cam Newton always does these camps, these football camps for kids, does these 7-on-7, all the way up. These guys happen to be U18. Does these big football weekends. Cam Newton does a lot for kids and the youth. So this was at his event, and it was he was breaking up a fight. Or it wasn't really even a fight yet. He was just trying to separate some guys that were getting a little bit heated. Cam got swept up on it and got attacked.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
No, and Cam, man, is a mountain of a man.
Oh, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. But you know what? Like, what disrespect these young kids have. Like,
that's the thing.
Dude, you're at his camp. I didn't know they were at his camp. I saw somebody, like, grabbing at his hat. Like, dude.
Oh, the guy tried to swing and punched him. You can't really tell if he connected.
I'm like, dude, these young kids, no respect. You know?
No. And Cam is one of these guys, though, at these camps. I mean, he feeds in. So when these kids are ribbing him and everything, Cam Newton gets right into these kids' faces, and not in an aggressive manner, but he gives it right back.
At the end of the day,
many of clips of him going on and on with the kids, which I like. Kid, if you're gonna give it out, you're at my camp. You're gonna take it back.
I'm pretty sure Deion Sanders gives it back.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he obviously likes kids because he's running this camp. He doesn't financially need to run these camps.
And that's why I'm thinking, like, did these kids... I hope this one-off didn't just ruin it, because I would feel bad for all the kids that he
for the
does
next
help
level
out,
of kids,
for everything that he did do. But just to watch, I mean, taking two guys and just manhandling them. I mean, the guy, he didn't throw a single punch. It just constantly...
Yeah, he's just trying to stop it.
Stopping, punches coming, ducking, throwing. And these U18 football players aren't small kids either.
No, they're future D1 athletes, right?
Yeah. So that's just something. It's just the bad press. I don't think he's getting too much bad press about it, because I think as the things are coming out, it was like, wow, Cam defended himself. He defended himself without throwing punches.
Get good press.
Yeah.
TMZ said, this is according to Chad, TMZ said Cam was trash talking other team big time. That's what started it.
Cam also, I don't disagree with that. He's known for that, but he's also these kids chirp him and he chirps right back.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that part's left out.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple clips of kids on the sideline chirping him, even on the field chirping him, and he's chirping him right back.
And you know what? Realistically, if they had 1/10 of the NFL career that he had, I don't think Cam Newton was great, but chances are the majority of these kids will never step foot on an NFL. You can be
still
a prospect.
Won an MVP.
Yeah, still won an MVP, made it to a Super Bowl, couldn't get on the fumble.
But,
yeah,
he's a guy with a big mouth. I mean, all year long he's been knocking Brock Purdy and making comments about other people.
Yeah, but that's what he does.
You're not even in the league anymore.
Right. But Stephen A. Smith does the same thing. That's
I can't
what
knock
they do.
him for that.
Yeah,
That's
what they do.
That's just him.
Doing.
He's a mouth.
Yeah.
Speaking of things what people did, Brady and Giselle back in the news.
Brady and Giselle.
Back in the news again. Just when you thought it finally got and gone.
This is going to get juicy. This is going to get juicy.
Just leave the man alone.
Leave them all alone. It's over. They're divorced.
So I guess it's coming out that he had known about the affair, and it had been going on since 2021.
2021. Wow.
Yeah.
And I remember I made a comment about Giselle.
We made a lot of comments about Giselle.
All these women were like really angry with me.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, she was out there cheating. You don't know that. As a woman, you can't say that. I'm like, she's taking private lessons with this jiu-jitsu instructor. A week after they're divorced, she's with the jiu-jitsu instructor on a private island with his whole family. She was obviously cheating on him with this guy. Yep. And now that it comes out, where's everyone else? Where are all the apologies? All the women that, I don't know.
You're not getting it.
Something I'm never going to get.
Yeah. It's very difficult to get an apology from a woman.
But I guess, he's saying that he had made peace with it. He was fine. I don't know. That's what makes me like, why did you retire? Not this last time. I'm sorry. The intermediate when
maybe
he retired.
Maybe he was trying to save the marriage. Some men are beta males, and apparently Tom Brady is a little bit alpha on the field, beta off the field, because you know what? If someone cheats on you, you got to go. In my opinion, you got to go. Unless maybe he did it for the kids, and then if he did it to stay for the kids, then I will say that's a good move. That would be the only reason to really stay, right? To kind of
joking on my water.
Yeah, I would say if you did it for the kids, that's okay. If you try to salvage the relationship's over at that point.
Yeah.
If trust is gone, the relationship's over. Do it for the kids. You know what? I'll pat you on the back for that. Maybe that's why he did it. If he tried to salvage the relationship, come on, it's probably not going to happen. Yeah.
Done is done.
Yeah, you can't break trust and get it back. It just doesn't work that way.
I completely agree with you.
You're all choked up about this. Are you emotionally upset that?
This is too much.
It's too much for Mr. Snellgrove. Yeah, but maybe he did it for the kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's gonna sound wonderful later when people listen back on the Spotify, me coughing and dying on the show.
Turn it into a reel.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how many times that gets brought up when he is now doing his media tours and getting ready for football next season. Because I don't think... I think it'll die down a little bit now, but it's definitely going to come back.
Yeah, I hope not. Just let the guy live his life, right?
It's going to get talked about.
It's going to get... But you know what? It's really none of our business. You know what? And you know what? Why? It was probably a very painful time in his life. Maybe still is painful. Why do we have to reopen that wound? Just let the guy be, I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan, but he's not out there hurting people. He's not like a dickhead of a human. Just let him be. Let him be.
Well...
But they won't.
No, it won't. No. They need to dig for dirt. They
need
the dirt.
Why?
That's the thing.
Why do you care about someone? I don't give a shit about anyone's personal business. As long as you're not out there hurting people, I could give two shits about anyone's personal business.
You just said a minute ago, ooh, this is going to be juicy.
Oh, it is going to be juicy. Oh, it's definitely juicy. Maybe I do care. All right, what do we have here, Snelly?
Well, I see that we missed Joshua Hoy's New England for the Hobby Card Show that happened in Rhode Island last weekend. A huge success. Okay. Charlie Macy was there.
Oh, nice.
Josh was saying it was one of his biggest turnouts. So because it was so big, he's actually doing it again March 24th.
All right.
So I will 100% be there this time. Dave will be there this time. Can we make it a probably wrong outing?
Probably not.
See that this guy.
I don't leave Massachusetts. This guy's he hates Massachusetts.
So
Drama
you'll have 2 of the 3 are probably wrong podcasts.
67%. It's in Smithfield, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I don't go to Smithfield, Rhode Island.
Obviously, Dave does.
Yeah.
Because that's where, Tina's from.
Oh,
North
okay.
Smithfield.
It's Rhode Island is so small, it's all one. I don't know why it's just not called Rhode Island. Why do they need different towns?
You don't even need cities and towns. It's just one state.
Well, what's it take you? 30 minutes to get any which way in Rhode Island?
Pretty much. I don't know. I'm not going there. Sorry, Troy. Troy.
Troy.
Hoy. Drama Hoy. Troy.
But what you did miss this weekend is the Jason Merrill comedy show.
I did miss that, yes.
It was excellent. Now, we've talked about Jason before. Last year, he used to be on here all the time. Don't know where you've been, Jason. But it was hilarious. If you ever get the chance, follow Jason Merrill Comedy. He doesn't really come down the South Shore that much. He's a big North Shore guy. But when he does come down here, he does not disappoint.
All right.
It was hilarious.
It was a good time.
Yeah. Very funny. Especially being down in that dungeon of the Cube. It was the Cubist Circle?
I don't even know what the name
Cubist
of the place
Circle is the name of the restaurant in Weymouth.
Okay.
Very good.
Sounds a little sketchy.
Down
in the dungeon?
It looks at it.
It looks at it before you go down there.
Yeah, a little scary.
So this year, after they had free appetizers, so we
Nothing sketchy about that.
So after dinner, a big dinner, Michael decided he was going to eat all kinds of free appetizers.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I can't. When this free food put down in front of me, especially free
had
food
enough
that
to
I
eat.
like,
Yeah.
I have a problem saying no to crab
So
rangoons.
what? Oh, yeah.
Crab rangoons and spring rolls.
Okay, yeah, it's hard to pass up on those.
Yeah.
I can't blame you.
They were pretty tasty.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
nobody was stopping me from filling bowl after bowl of crab rangoons.
Nor should they.
So I went hard on them. Tina went hard on them.
Yes, she did.
We enjoyed our rangoons.
I could not.
So-
I went hard on the Mai Tais.
Oh, good for you.
That was
Was there a third app?
I don't remember. I don't remember what the third app was. I think it was alcohol.
Yeah,
Alcohol.
yeah.
Alcohol. There was a lot of
Sounds about
alcohol
right.
flowing
Tequila.
that night. Myself, the Diet Cokes were cold and good.
Nice.
So
nice.
great time. You missed it. Where did you end up that you couldn't come out?
I had a buddy come up from back home. We did our fantasy baseball lottery draft.
That's what it was.
And
the
then,
Justin Elwood experience.
Yeah. So he came up, and then we just grabbed a bite to eat. But this year's fantasy baseball league, I don't know. Baseball's taking a turn. It's a lot different than what it used to be. So I don't like my pick at 11, but whatever.
Well,
Make it work. I'll make it work.
I know no one cares, but I gotta ask, who was the pick?
Well, we just did the draft lottery. The number one pick is
Oh.
Ronald Acuna. That is by far the number one pick. Ronald Acuna 1, J-Rod 2, Bobby Witt 3,
Okay, all right. That's
Corbin
all,
Carroll
that's all
4,
we
Mookie
needed.
Betts 5 after that.
That's all we needed.
Yeah, it's Ronald Acuna is the best player in baseball.
The years of my Mookie Betts have fallen off.
He's gotten older. He's still
Yeah, he's
great.
getting
Still
older.
great. He had a great year. He doesn't steal like he used to. Only stole 16 bases last year, but still great and playing second base this year.
All right. Is there anything else you want to touch on tonight?
Not fantasy wise, because my people might be watching the show and they might take some tips.
You don't
So
wanna
I don't
leave
want
out
to
the
do any more
tips.
fantasy.
That's all I got for tonight.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty
we
solid
had a good night.
for an uneventful sports week.
Drew Holiday and Jason Tatum named
Olympic
to the
team.
U.S. Olympic team.
Yep. And no Jaylen Brown though.
No Jaylen Brown. I did wonder that.
Why Drew and not Jaylen?
Exactly. I don't know. I just happened to see that pop up before the show started, so I didn't get to dig that much on it. Also, what just happened? I hate to end on a sour note, but Tim Wakefield recently passed. His wife just passed away. The news is everywhere right now.
And someone else just passed too. The guy from Curb, Dennis Lewis.
I
Richard
know.
Lewis. Richard Lewis just passed.
I heard that.
Richard Lewis.
The guy from Curb, the comedian, right?
I don't watch Curb.
No. You know who he is.
Men in Tights. Robin
Oh,
Hood Men in
that
Tights.
guy.
The king.
75 years old.
with the long.
Sorry, not
Black
king.
hair? Did he
Prince.
have-
Black hair,
Yeah.
like slicked
Yeah.
back. Yeah. He just passed maybe 2 hours ago.
All right.
Sucks.
Ending the show with death.
Yeah. Don't like to do it that way, but
It's
sometimes
inevitable.
That's how it's got to be.
All right.
All right, David, take us out.
Taking it. All right. Maybe I can get it right this time.
Close enough.